So you talked, for instance, along the line, I heard you from the piece, talking about ownership. Beyond just being given the land, you want to be able to say that I'm owning it for the next 10 or 15 years or the next 20 years and all of that. Beyond that, submit to us what you think the next step should be.
Yeah, so good morning, everybody. Yeah, I'm very happy that I've seen very nice faces here, and everybody seems to be so much interested in what the documentary is about. And that just gives us hope that we will make changes together. True of us. Thank you. Yeah, so just to give some preliminary statements on the what we've been doing as an organization and relating it directly to the documentary and the content of it. Just to say that we're a women's rights organization, and for us, securing the economic rights and security of women is very important. And we do this with the intention that we want to, as much as possible, reduce gender-based violence in communities and for women and girls wherever they find themselves. And to do that, that is why we believe intentionally that economic security of women is very fundamental. Now, from where we stand, if we are talking economic security, then we are talking about access. And in asset, in where we also stand, has to do with land. Because land appreciates in value, isn't it? Now, anybody having asset, you can therefore say that you have something to invest, because you can use it to generate capital to be able to invest in any enterprise that you want to do. Now, where we work with a lot of rural women, because statistics from the agric office tells us that this all of us are being fed by these rural women, right from the production up to the market. You go to every market and it is the women who are selling there. You go to even the processing of the food that we buy, it is the women that are there. But we need them to really do this with the hope that they can sustain livelihoods. So it is important. So we've been very intentional about making sure that women get the right asset, which is land, so that they produce, and along the value chain, they can be able to really enjoy what they do. Now, we've been working for almost 10,000 women for all the years that we've been working in Northern Ghana, and land has always been an issue. So this documentary that was shot and the statements from these women, they are real. They are just telling you their real situation. And if you pick it from the point that the agric officer, the weird officer was saying that when men get, they send it out. In the documentary, if you follow the write-up, you could see that every woman that spoke and talk about the fact that they needed the land and the importance of belonging to the group. At the end of the day, they say that whatever they got, they brought it to the house. Whatever they got, they invested in children. To the extent that some of them were saying that even what they got, they gave it to their husbands. It was there. And we saw it, just to buttress. But when the man was talking, I actually didn't see that part. Just for all of us to see. When there was a man that came, I think the second scene or so, the man did not see link how his was adding to the value in the house. So just to buttress the point that when we are talking and we are advocating for women accessing land, and whatever comes out of that land is for the benefit of the whole household and not the individual. So we should all have an interest in it, and we should all be committed to the advocacy for change. Now, what I also want to say is that I was in New York. I just came last week on the Commission on the Status of Women. And in that commission discussion, I saw that one of the concluding statements that was made by the UN Women has to do with this. It is a fundamental thing if we want to reduce poverty of women. It is fundamental thing if we want to achieve the gender equality we are talking about. It is fundamental if we want to say that girls must be in school and boys must be in school, because you need their mothers to be empowered economically. So it is very important and fundamental for all of us to have common interest in getting the agenda. Now, I just want to conclude by just to say that we need the advocacy of people being aware of even what the law says when it comes to land. A lot of us don't know what the law even says currently in the state that it is. And as an organization, say, I think one of my partner colleague is here from Suntaba. I think that what we've been doing enough to increase the awareness of what the law stands now. How do we get these women to be legally literate, so that nobody uses legality to really deny them what they could have even accessed, no matter how small it is? So the legal literacy is also becoming very fundamental, and we need to be very intentional about adding it to our advocacy agenda as CSOs that we do. And I want to say that what Imani has done is just making sure that we are getting the poverty reduction at the grassroots level. Because when more women understand the need for them to engage and access land, and we have also all agreed that individuals don't make the change that we are looking for. The groups make the change. So as women that already we are at the other side, power is not with us. We can only use numbers to assess what we are entitled to. And that is why as an organization, we believe in the group dynamics of the groups, getting them to understand why they need to have a common front, a common fort, because our interest is the same. We have more in common than the difference as women. So when they come together, it makes more sense for chiefs to engage them. It makes more sense because we'll be able to acquire a lot of land for women because we have groups, and the groups have been trained to demand, to be able to engage, to be able to make justification for why they need those lands to make the difference in their life. There are about 6 projects from the USAID in the northern region. All of them are agriculture-related, and all of them are JC specific. What I mean by that, they are gender equality and social inclusion specific interventions. Now, they are intentionally supposed to be engaging women to be able to farm. Last week, I was in the meeting with them, and the challenge has always been that at the end of 5-year project that normally finish, they are not able to account for the number of women that have actually directly benefited, all because of the issue of this, the land. So it is very fundamental, and we really need to know that the land we are talking about is for production. The land we are talking about is to feed us and make us resilient as people. Because with that, the rural woman having access to the land and having both access and control. Control here, like the question you asked me, has to do with if I have control over the land and every other thing on the land. You know, the land economists, when they are defining land, it's not only this thing. It includes all the resources on it. But we have situations where they say you can access the land as the land. So any other thing on it is not for you. So what it means is that as a woman or as women groups, you need to secure the tenure of use, both access and control. And that is why we're introducing the MOU with the chiefs, which some of them are signing, 15 years, 20 years. We did that for some share park lands where people cannot cut the share trees for charcoals because the women have protected it and they have that right of use over that place. And that is where investments come in. You need to develop the land with money. The women, when they do their savings, they need to reinvest on the land. But they can only do that for it to be productive if they have that medium to long-term use of that land. So that is the next level. There's always hope to engage chiefs, to engage landowners. And now everybody knows that a woman's contribution is also valuable to the household progress. So it's making people to really begin to change, understand why we must release land and we must get women to have both access and control, so that they can control the use of the land. They can determine what crops they put in it. They can determine that I can do fallow for this year so that I can regain back the land. If not, they will invest 2-3 years. When the land becomes productive, they come and collect it. Usually that has been the experience. So we want to go beyond that discussion of getting people to really invest in the land and get the returns on investment. Thank you very much.